What is one real trick that companies don't want you to know? I used to work at a PC repair shop and had to call HP warranty support in India almost every day. Talking with someone using a script plus language barrier equals aggravating and time-consuming. I learned that if you select the option for Spanish, you get transferred to a call center in Texas. From there you can just speak English. Until one day you're sent to Mexico, then you're falada. Holy guacamole, thanks for the oro. Genius. Airlines sometimes have cheaper flights to distant destinations that change planes in your intended destination city. So if you are flying to Chicago, you might book a flight to LA, knowing it stops in Chicago, and simply get off and not board the second leg. There is a website called skiplag.com that is being sued by United for informing people how to take advantage of it. If you're going to do this, for the love of God, don't check any bags. Yes, that's part of it. You also don't book it round trip. I have heard of people who had to stop off and missed the connecting flight due to weather. They talked to the airline and they had no other flight to get to the event in time, so they rented a car. 5 days later, when they went to get their flight home, they were told that their ticket was canceled because they did not take the second leg of the original flight. That exact scenario happened to my husband. He had to spend the day on standby and was delayed 6 hours on his return flight because they'd canceled his return tickets even though they knew why he hadn't made the connection. Ask for the bag to be short-checked to the city you want to get off in. Say you have something to hand off to a relative, etc. This sounds like it would get you flagged as a drug mule or something. I would suggest not actually being a drug mule and you should be just fine. Don't tell me how to live my life. This works great until your flight gets canceled. Suddenly your flight to Chicago is now going via Boston. I don't know American geography, and you never see LA. Edit. Swap Chicago and LA. This happened to me earlier this week. I told the airport that I had to be routed through that city before my final fake destination because I was meeting up with someone there. It worked fine. The airline isn't required to accommodate you in that case. The agent could have just told you to pound sand and you'd have been stuck. The United suit was thrown out this week. It could be refiled somewhere else though because it was thrown out on procedural grounds rather than the merits of the case. Airlines have rules in place to deter people from this. If there is a return flight, it will usually be canceled without a refund, and you'll eventually get flagged for it if you do it enough. And if you care about your frequent flyer account, don't do this. It's against the rules you agreed to and they'll happily cancel your account. I've got hundreds of thousands of miles flown on the carrier I use. No way I'd ever think of trying this. If the only reason you are buying something is because it is on sale, you still aren't saving money. Me. Mom, why did you buy that machete? Mom, because it was on sale. Me, you know what is cheaper than a machete that is on sale? Not buying the machete. If she also recently bought a hockey goalie mask, she may have plans for you. Nope, I refuse to believe this. I definitely have saved hundreds of dollars on all these Steam games I've played for 30 minutes each. There will come a time when the internet is kill and all I have are those 50 single-player indie games. Until then, I'll just carry on wasting NY time on Dota 2. There is an East Indian saying that my grandma used to say a lot. If you only have 50 cents, and an elephant is on sale for 50 cents, you still shouldn't buy that elephant because you don't need an elephant. If you want to cancel a hotel reservation, but you're within the penalty period, call up, go online and move the reservation forward by a couple of weeks, a month, whatever. Just enough to get you out of the cancellation penalty period. Then call up, go online the next day and cancel the reservation. Nicer, smarter hotels will charge you and forward the balance to a future date, making it necessary to book another stay. LPT. Continue moving forward reservation for years on end until you take a vacation there. This doesn't always work. My hotel will note that you modified your reservation and on what day you did it to prevent exactly this. Bed Bath & Beyond coupons never expire. Hello everyone. Currently I am an associate at BB&B and would like to clarify some things. Yes, we can use expired coupons but only the paper ones we send out in the mail. We cannot accept an expired email coupon. The computer does it for us, there is nothing I can do. With the new paper coupons that start at a 20% and go to a 10% after a certain date, will remain at a 10% after expiration. Another thing about coupons, we can use as many as you want, as long as you have that many items. i.e. you have 6 20%, 10% coupons, we can use them on 6 items of any price. It gets a little confusing with the $5 off $15 coupon. If you are combining a 20% coupon with a $5 off $15 coupon and you have 2 items, the 20% will come off of the highest price item automatically with any transaction, but if your second item is under $14.99, we can't use the $5 off $15. The coupon applies to the remaining total price, which has to reach the cutoff limit of $14.99. That's part of the reason why we have cheaper item up at the registers. We try to get you the best deal possible with their coupons, but some people insist that the way they planned it out will save them the most money. You can designate your coupons to certain items, but I promise you that we are trained to save you as much as we can with the knowledge we have. If you are wanting to order from our website, this is the beyond part. We can look up pretty much anything and there is a 95% chance we can find it on our website. Yes, we have mattresses and chicken coops, come in store. We can save you the hassle, we can waive the shipping fee. If you order at home and your total is under $49.99, there will be a shipping fee, and if you aren't being a total asshat, we can apply 20% coupons at no expense to the stockpiled ones in your car. Here's a freebie. You know our towel room? The towels that are above a normal arm's reach are faked out. It's just one towel wrapped around a styrofoam, not sure if I spelled that right, block that has grooves in it to make it look like 4 towels. Edit. Thanks for my first gold ever, stranger. EDIT 2. Grammar. Edit 3. Just thought of another thing. We fold all of our towels a certain way, so if anyone feels the need to unfold them and be gracious to try and refold them and put them back, just don't. I will try to take some pictures on my shift today to show you all what I mean. Crate and Barrel associate here. We are now rivals. How can we be rivals if I have never heard of your store? If you make a good faith effort to pay medical bills, they can't be sent to collections. Offer to pay $20 a month till it's paid, and the hospital or doc will often be willing to settle for half payment in closing the bill. Just get it in writing. Does this work with student loans as well? BRB killing myself. My thoughts exactly. I couldn't help but notice that he's not back yet though. I once owed the hospital $2,000 for an emergency visit. At the time I was 100% broke, and after paying about $500 of it off, I knew I couldn't afford any more if I didn't want to starve. I wrote a letter to the hospital explaining my predicament and illustrating the reasons why I couldn't ask my family for the money. They forgave the rest of it entirely. This is because the actual amount they would expect to receive from insurance is usually as low as 30% for Medicaid, higher for private insurance, but nowhere near 100%. Your $500 is pretty close to what it would actually be, so they were happy with it. Anyone uninsured that pays the full face value of a medical bill wasted a bunch of money. They will always cut the bill down for self-pay. There are lots of companies that if you order from them online and stop at the last step and leave, within a couple of days you'll get an email offering you a substantial discount on what you were about to buy at full price. I help set up site and cart abandon emails. It's usually more like 30 to 60 minutes after leaving rather than a few days, depending on what triggers you set off browsing the site. Give me some specific sites. Logitech. I nearly bought a mouse from there, and when I hit close they gave me a pop-up offering free shipping. Would have been awesome if I didn't have Amazon Prime. Buy cheap HDMI cables, they are just as good as the expensive ones. Well, to a point. There is a difference between a 50-cent cable and a $5 cable. There is no difference between a $5 cable and a $500 cable. Depends what you plan on doing with said cable. Plugging it in things, obviously. That makes more sense than what I've been doing. This HDMI cable actually makes a horrible laundry line. Most laundry lines are longer than 5 feet. Look at Mr. Fancypant over here. Just because a store is branded as a certain company doesn't mean it's owned and operated by that company. For example, if you don't like Shell gas and decide to go to the Exxon down the street, Shell may still own and operate that store but fly Exxon's flag. They just pay Exxon a small fee to keep their branding up. My step-brother used to work for a company that owned gas stations. He had a hell of a time when the BP oil spill happened. The store runners at BP stations were losing business when they really had very little to do with the actual BP company. Some didn't even get any gas derived from BP oil. Cheese, we can't even vote with our wallets. Nope. There's usually 4 or 5 companies that own basically all of the brands in a given market segment. Unless you really dig deep, voting with your wallet usually just changes which channel the money flows up rather than its actual destination. It's like they are creating the illusion of competition. It isn't quite as bad as an actual monopoly, or even as bad companies scheming together to act as a monopoly, but I think it can be almost as bad for consumers. Companies scheming together to act as a monopoly, the word you're looking for is cartel. You can get free cups of water anywhere that sells food. At Disney this saved so much money. This is true in the US, but not always true or a good idea elsewhere in the world. In Canada, if you ask for a cup of water they say, "Sorry, here you go," and then you say, "Hey, thanks, sorry to bother," and then they say, "Really, it's not a problem at all, sorry if I came off as rude," and then you say, "Thanks, hey, you want to come back to my igloo? We can drink some Molson and watch hockey," and then they say, "Sorry, I already have plans to go moose watching and then you say, "Thanks." As a Canadian, I can confirm this is actually what goes down when you ask for a cup of water. Every damn time. The epidemic of Canadians who've died of thirst while trying to complete this exchange is staggering. At least in my area, MN Twin Cities, McDonald's won't let you get a free cup of water unless you buy something. Edit. Based on the surprisingly large number of responses there have been to this, it looks like this varies widely by individual store and often, usually only applies to the drive-thru. Till. Complain to corporate. They are required to. They should offer the water for free, but not the cup. They usually won't give you a free cup without buying something. They still have to give you a way to drink the water. If it's not with a cup, then something else. Honestly, calling their corporate will solve that problem instantly. I used to work for McDonald's. You know the Mr. Clean Magic erasers that are so awesome? They are just melamine foam, which you can buy branded in bundle packs of 30 to 100 on eBay and Amazon for less than 25 cents each. Nice try, Mr. Clean. I had a locksmith tell me that I could not program my own RFID chipped key using 2 original keys and my Jeep's computer, and that I either had to have him do it or pay even more at a dealership to have them do it. And buy a chipped key from him for $30. I knew better. I bought an $8 chipped key off eBay, programmed it myself using instructions online. The seller also sent me programming instructions and had it physically copied at that same locksmith for $2. Also, there were instructions in the Jeep's owner's manual. Note: the way the computer programs the key is that you basically insert the first original key, turn the ignition on, then the second original key, and then the new key that then gets programmed. I also had a non-chipped key that I had made earlier just to open the Jeep's doors and taped that key to the chipped blank key to fool the Jeep's computer into thinking that the chipped key was being inserted. Locksmith would have charged me upwards of $80 when I did it myself for about $12. Locksmiths hate me. You're lucky. When I needed an extra key for my car, the dealer wanted to charge me $500 total. $100 for the key. $50 to cut it. $50 to program it with the alarm. $300 to program it to the EQ for transponder. I ended up getting a $50 key with a transponder and chips on eBay and a $100 transponder programmer. If you're calling a support line, curse angrily at the robo-receptionist. The software on the other end will sense that you are having trouble with the phone tree and connect you with an actual person. Usually pressing 0 a few times will net you the same result. Also, cursing angrily will only work if the voice recognition system actually has a built-in solution for a default that takes you to a representative. If its default is to repeat the message or hang up, you're still Saul. Most companies have better practices in place than that though. I design call flows for a living. Edit. Thank you for your interests and great discussion about my job. Surprised so many people found this so interesting. So you're the one to blame. Hey, in my defense, the company I work for has outstanding ratings as far as call services are concerned. In fact, it rates higher than every other member connection channel. But also, yes, true, I called somewhere and could not get to an agent. No amount of pressing 0 or yelling "agent, representative" worked. The second I said "frack you" to the robot, "Please hold while we connect you to the first available representative." Instead of swearing, I start talking in a random language, or total gibberish. That works too most times. Robot. Dial 1 for me. Ooga booga blah blah room room. Robot. Please wait while I connect you to an agent. Done. Ooga booga blah blah room. You've played The Sims too. Please stop swearing once you reach an actual person. I know you are frustrated, but this is not at you or Kalinga son of a b. This is some poor schlub making barely more than minimum wage that probably hates Uverse more than you do. Also, at least at the call center I worked at I could hang up on you for swearing after one warning. Also, if you're on the phone with a salesperson or tech, start crying if things don't go your way. They're used to people yelling, but start crying and they're flummoxed. Ah, the old Tom Haverford. There are tons of free services that give you the ability to create a throwable email, disposable email, so you can sign, confirm the email, without having to use your own email. Edit. One that I'm using regularly is disposable.com, from the old team that was managing Mininova. 10minutemail.com, and Meltmail. Meltmail.com. They give you a few options for how long the email forwarding will last, from 3 to 24 hours. A lot of services block emails from those domains, so your mileage may vary. I've worked retail for 6 years. Tip 1. Things are always on sale and they're never full price. The original price sticker should be illegal since the product is literally never that price. Don't get caught up in the "how much I saved" mentality. Always look at how much you are spending. Tip 2. When you get a coupon sent to you for, let's say, $10 off, on that exact day, usually Sunday, all the prices change for that week. They'll raise the price on an item $10 and then send out a $10 coupon for it. People are conditioned to buy a $40 item with a $10 coupon to drop the price to $30 instead of buying it the week before when it was $30 with no coupon. Don't let coupons trick you. Tip 3. Never get a store credit card unless you pay it off in full immediately after your purchase. Interest rates are close to 30%. Tip 4. Be nice to the cashier, sales associate, and you're more likely to get a good deal. I know everyone has the Walmart mentality of complaining to get your way, but in any other smaller chain, being respectful will give you great deals. We regularly take 20% off of someone's purchase if they're respectful while we are helping them. Tip 5. Aside from some major items, TV, basketball hoop, etc., Black Friday is a huge scam. People just think they're getting great deals. Prices on other items are the same as they always are. Companies depend on you coming in for that great deal on a TV or whatever and buying a bunch of other stuff too. Hope this helps. Tips 1 and 2 are crazy illegal, at least in Canada. There was a sporting goods chain, Sportmart, that got massive fines several years ago for those exact practices. Think they're out of business now. It's actually illegal in the US. They are required to have the item available for purchase at full price or have evidence of competitors selling it at that price before they are legally allowed to mark it down as on sale. Although I think they are allowed to use their website pricing as a comparison. So just have it online for a few weeks at regular price, then put it in stores on sale. Source: http://www.nolo.com/legal-encyclopedia/consumer-protection-laws-business-29641.html. Worked at a Bed Bath & Beyond in college for 2 years. The people who were nice to me usually got a discount when they didn't expect one. The people who are not got the bare minimum. The nicer you are to the cashier, the more you get. When I hear things like this, I always want to ask how attractive the person was getting the discount. I'm super nice to everybody, waiters, cashiers, whatever, and I've yet to ever get a single cent off except for the rare times I've had to complain due to me being ignored because I was trying to be patient, which resulted in me getting ignored. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but my economy teacher once told me that if you take a loan from a bank, you can ask to make payments on a bi-monthly basis as opposed to a monthly basis, and that should reduce the amount of interest you pay. Edit. Bi-monthly does mean twice in 1 month. Stop sending me messages about it. Edit X2. This post and the ensuing comments are not actually about getting better loans. The discussion is in fact about the proper use of bi-weekly, bi-monthly, semi-weekly, semi-monthly, and fortnightly. This is absolutely true, and it shaves years off of a mortgage. No, it doesn't shave years off of a mortgage. Bi-monthly is not bi-weekly. Bi-weekly shaves years off of a mortgage because you pay 26 payments annually instead of 24. The difference in the way that interest rate compounds is virtually insignificant at today's rates. Actually, it is every 2 weeks. This is better than twice monthly due to the number of payments in a year. Twice monthly is 12 times 2 equals 24 payments per year. Every 2 weeks is 52 halves equals 26 payments per year. Planned obsolescence, wiki. Companies design products in such a way that they become obsolete within a certain time frame. A really nasty example is INKT toners that are programmed to show up empty while they still contain INKT. So the printer refuses to print since the chip of the toner says it's empty. And you are forced to buy a new one. The biggest planned obsolescence products are the ones that require frequent software updates. Eventually your hardware will get left behind and you end up moving on to the next upgrade. Smartphones, baby. I don't disagree that this is true to an extent, but there's also a valid argument to be made that there's little reason for a piece of software to remain exactly the same for years. No program is perfect the first time around. Are these companies supposed to not address bugs or adjust UX issues? Then, by extension, why wouldn't you want these updates to be taking advantage of new technology? Games like GTA 5 are super slow on the Xbox 360 because it's the limit of that tech. You wouldn't want to play a game that looked like Vice City on your PS4, so why would you expect to use the 2015 version of an app on your phone from 2012? You don't actually have to give any of your real information online like ever. But everybody just naively volunteers it anyway. Similar to this, you do not have to stop to let them search your bags unless it is a membership store like Costco where you've agreed to allow such searches as terms of your membership. Walking out of Lowe's, Walmart, Target, whatever and they ask you to stop to search your bag, you can just walk right past, or if you're feeling randy, tell them off. They cannot legally detain you or search your person. Edit for clarity. This is referring to the routine and systematic checking of all receipts of all customers as a matter of course as they leave, and not shopkeeper's privilege where they actually have a specific suspicion of theft. If they have no suspicion of theft, they cannot detain you and search your stuff. Easiest solution: ask, am I suspected of theft? If the answer is no, then keep walking. Edit 2. Costco, Disney, concert venues, airports, these places are different. They are private facilities you pay for access to. They have terms and conditions that come with their tickets. Public places with no posted search bags policy are different. Edit 3. Why should I care? If you've done nothing wrong, have nothing to hide, why does it matter? It's a matter of principle. I have a right to be secure in my person and effects. I have a right to not be subjected to unlawful detainment and unwarranted search and seizures. For the same reasons I am opposed to the NSA collecting my personal data regardless of the fact I've committed no crimes. I am opposed to public facilities attempting to detain and search me even though I didn't steal anything. I'm not fond of my rights being chipped away. Yeah. According to the internet, I am Ethan Berry, a 40-year-old married stockbroker with 2 kids and a nice house. I am none of these things in real life. Nice try, Ethan. It's too late to throw us off. When signing up for stuff where you don't need to verify your ID, specifically magazines, use a different name from your own to find out which companies are selling your information. I'm not sure who Dr. Dequarius McFlopperson III is, but I am not him. Use the company's name when you sign up. They'll give themselves away. I have my own domain, so every sign up it's like Reddit at my domain, stumble upon it, FB it. Every Groupon like has ended selling me out. My wife's dog, Gomez Puddlemaker, had a credit card application sent to him thanks to some lowlife, dog-related, magazine. He may have better credit than I do, in fact. The name brand products you buy at Walmart are of inferior quality to the same product at regular stores. Learned this in a business course, specifically in reference to name brand shampoo and toothpaste, but applicable to many products. Walmart demands lower prices, so manufacturers lower quality. Walmart is pretty much evil then. They're basically ripping off poor folk by selling them inferior product marketed as the same product but cheaper. I think we all already know that Walmart is evil. If you own a fleshlight, don't buy the lube or the freshening powder from their site. The lube is extremely overpriced and the powder is 99% cornstarch. Just buy cornstarch and use that to freshen your fleshlight. Yes, I can confirm this works. You'll get more that last way longer for far less money. Lube tend to be expensive, but I have found that baby oil isn't that bad for your fleshlight. Yes, the material will deteriorate from the oil and its lifespan will be shortened. But if you regularly wash and clean it, the deterioration will be negligible. especially if you apply cornstarch often as it absorbs all the residual oil. Water-based lube from the pharmacy, though overpriced, is still way cheaper than the lube on the Fleshlight site. You seem to be an expert. He heard it all from his friend who has a Fleshlight. Just buy the 55-gallon drum from Amazon and be done with it. What about next week? I've never paid full price for Sirius XM radio. I received a free year with the purchase of my car. After that year was up, they called me up to renew at something like $20 per month. Why would I pay you $20 per month to listen to whatever you send me, when I could pay $10 per month to Spotify and listen to whatever I want? Sir, we can offer you 6 months of Sirius XM for $20. Would you be interested in that? Yep, I don't want to be auto-billed, invoice me. I've performed this dance every 6 months for the past 3 years. Another method is to use a secondary email for one purpose. Where I work, we have an email account that is used for the corporate iTunes account and only the iTunes account. It currently has the highest volume of inbound spam emails by a large margin. Thanks, Apple. Used to work at CVS for a little bit. I did not give a frack. If you came yelling at me about coupons, mispriced items, etc., I will mark it down. How did I come to do this? When I started, I used to call the manager every time a customer had a complaint, and she just told me to give them the deals whenever it would happen and not to call her. I'm pretty sure it's like this for most places. But be nice at first and just end up giving you the deals. I used to work at Radio Shack. We had a $50 rule. If the customer was complaining about something that could be solved for less than $50, immediately say yes and do it. Nobody would get in trouble for spending less than $50 to retain a customer. Anything more than $50 needed regional management's approval. Of course, Radio Shack is out of business now, so I don't know whether that customer service model actually works. Overstock is $35. Every agent has up to $35 per call to make a customer feel good about their problems. Anything over requires a lead okay, which they can get by turning 180 degrees and asking. I've flat given away thousands of dollars to make long-time customers happy when I worked at Overstock. Baby wipes and makeup remover have the same effect as far as removing makeup. Don't spend $6 on a pack of 20 makeup remover wipes. Spend $6 on a pack of 100 baby wipes instead. Both of these can also be used to clog an enemy's toilet. I can usually clog an enemy's toilet on my own, thank you very much. Generic store brands of medication contain the same active ingredient as the name brand. The only difference is binders and fillers. There's no reason to not try the generic brand first. In the UK at least, there is a place code, product license on medicines. Everything with the same code has identical active ingredients, regardless of the cost of the package. In Canada, if you don't want to put up with UPS's nonsense, add a box to your address, as follows. 123 Any Street Apt 6 should be replaced with 123 Any Street Box 6. This will cause the system to select Canada Post for shipping. I have no way to verify this. I have a friend that worked for a razor manufacturer. I won't say which one because I only have his word for this. He told me that the honers that sharpen blades had several settings, let's call them dull, normal, and extra sharp. The sharper the setting, the slower the assembly line, and they wanted the assembly line to run as fast as possible. Normal was the setting used for everyday manufacturing. When they wanted to make more money, they came out with a new, improved version of the razor, at higher cost, of course, even though the manufacturing cost for the new razor was no more than for the old one. They might not change anything but the handle design to make the razor fit your hand differently. To establish demand for the new razor, several months before introducing the new razors, they turned the honers on the current line down to dull. When they started to manufacture the new, improved razors, they turned the honers on those razors up to extra sharp. Joe Consumer bought a package of the new, improved razors and tried them and declared, "Wow, these are really good." Demand for the new razors went up and they earned a spot on the retail shelves. Eventually, manufacturing for the old razors ceased, and the honers for the new razors were turned down to normal to speed up the production lines, and the changeover from the old product to the new one was complete. Net result was that Joe Consumer was paying more for essentially the same product, and Mr. Stockholder had a bigger dividend and Mr. CEO had a bigger bonus. That is sadly completely believable. That you don't need 95% of things they sell. You know how it's almost impossible to get scammers to stop calling? Well, almost. I'm 100% convinced there are black market phone lists floating around, because I'm almost positive I got myself removed from at least one of them, because practically overnight I stopped getting scam calls from a wide variety of different scams, and with one simple trick. Hold on a sec, I have to turn on the recording for the FCC. Obviously this only works in the US, but you could substitute your local regulatory agency and it would probably work just as well. The dude hung up so fast it wasn't even funny, and I never got any more calls from that scam, and I stopped getting calls from different scams pretty quickly after I created this trick. Also effective is to pretend they're calling into a made-up tech support line. Immediately ask them for their name and last 4 digits of their social, make it believable, and you can definitely confuse them. People who call me play by my rules. Welcome to the funhouse. Write companies letters. They usually give you free swag, or at least discounts. I wrote Sega once a long time ago. They sent me the coolest Sonic and Knuckles t-shirt ever. The game had just came out for Genesis. I loved that shirt. Edit. Snail mail works best. Handwritten or printed doesn't matter, also don't be a grasshole. My father does this, he's 60. He once wrote a letter complaining to a major paint company about the quality of some paint he'd used on his house. The dye lots were inconsistent. They refunded him everything and sent him new paint. This was several $1,000s of quality stuff, enough for an entire suburban house. At Macy's, I had a roommate who worked there, and he said, if you tell them you found an item on the clearance rack, it is store policy to give it to you at whatever the discount is. Of course it's more likely that someone finds it on the clearance rack than actually finds it on the clearance rack. Can confirm. Got a $300 jacket for $100. Did I actually find it on the correct rack, or did I move 5 or 6 of the same jacket to that rack as evidence? I don't remember. What I'm trying to say is don't buy wool jackets if you have a long-haired dog. Shave with a safety razor. You'll get a better shave, and you can vary good blades for about 50 cents each. I've probably only spent about $20 on shaving in the last year. And of course, there's a subreddit for everything. r/wicked_edge. If you stay at a hospital, ask for an itemized bill, especially if staying at a state or locally funded one. Reason for this, hospitals like to sneak in hidden charges for services you didn't receive, like pelvic exams when you went in for a broken arm. This can save you hundreds of dollars on your bill. If you are a female and want a nice belt for a better price, go to the men's section. They have better quality belts for a cheaper price. Gatorade doesn't hydrate you as well as water. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Do you even know what electrolytes are? They're electric. Boogie woogie woogie. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.